بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله الكريم أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Alhamdulillah, we're flying through the month of Ramadan. The days are going very, very fast. Allah Ta'ala gives us the tawfiq to make the most out of these days, inshallah Ta'ala. And inshallah Ta'ala, we just quickly mention, we'll go through a hadith. عن أبي هريرة رضي الله تعالى عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم ثلاثة لا ترد دعوتهم الصائم حتى يفطر والإمام العادل ودعوة المظلوم يرفعها الله فوق الغمام ويفتح لها أبواب السماء ويقول الرب والعزة لأنصرنك ولو بعد حين. So in the hadith, Hazrat Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he has narrated that our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that there are three people whose dua, three people whose prayers are not rejected. Number one, the fasting person. So the fasting person until he breaks the fast, meaning such a person's dua will inshallah is not rejected. The second, a just ruler. And the third person, the oppressed person, someone who's oppressed, someone who's madloom, someone on whom someone's doing zulm on. So regarding this, the oppressed person whose dua Allah Ta'ala lifts above the clouds. So regarding it, Allah Ta'ala, He lifts this person's dua above the clouds and opens it onto the doors of the heaven. And Allah Ta'ala says, I swear by my honor, verily I shall assist you. I shall help you, meaning the oppressed person, even though it may be after some time. So there's three people whose du'as are not rejected. Number one, the fasting person. This applies to us, alhamdulillah. Second, the just ruler. And third, the oppressed person. So regarding the oppressed person, inshallah ta'ala, we'll probably try and cover that, inshallah ta'ala, maybe some other time. But in regards to the first person, a person who fasts, so it's been narrated that from Aisha radiallahu anha that when Ramadan would appear, then the color of our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam's face, it used to change, and then he used to increase in his load of salah, in his ibadah. And our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when Ramadan would come, he would become even more humble in his du'as, even more subservient, and our Prophet ﷺ would even display, even more fear to Allah in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And according to another report, it's mentioned that our Prophet ﷺ, he would hardly ever lay down in bed until Ramadan actually came to an end. So our Prophet ﷺ, when the month of Ramadan would come, then he would really exert himself and really go all out to make the most of this opportunity. Further, it's also mentioned that angels carrying the throne, so angels who will be carrying the throne of Allah Ta'ala, they're commanded in Ramadan to leave aside everything else and just recite Ameen. Just say Ameen to the du'as of those who fast. There are also other ahadith that mention that the fasting person's du'as are answered. And, if you think about this, that, when Allah Ta'ala has promised, and, our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he's mentioned this to us, then there's no doubt whatsoever about the truth of these hadith, that definitely a fasting person's du'a for sure is accepted. But in spite of this, it's strange that, we still find, others who apparently you can say they don't get what they pray for, or they don't receive what they ask for. But that doesn't mean that their prayers have been rejected. Of course not. So a person should understand at this point that the person's du'as, it's definitely answered. But the way it works is that when a person makes du'a, either Allah Ta'ala he answers the du'a straight away, or Allah Ta'ala He delays in response to the dua, or Allah Ta'ala, instead of giving that person the reward of that dua in the world, Allah Ta'ala He will exchange that and replace the reward of that, or Allah Ta'ala will give something better in the hereafter. So now we need to understand that, sometimes when we make dua, it's like a child. If a child asks his dad, "Oh, Dad, can you buy me, a flick knife, or one of those pen knives or something?" So this is a small child, and he's like, "Yeah, Dad, I want to play with that knife," or he wants to play with the butcher's knife or something. Now, a sensible dad, he'll never ever give his child a flick knife to play with or a butcher's knife to play with. Why? What's the child going to do with it? He'll hurt himself. If he doesn't hurt himself, he'll hurt others. He knows that, giving this knife or giving this type of item to a child is dangerous. So in the same manner, Allah Ta'ala knows us best as well. Many times we don't realize that the things that we make dua for, in fact, we think it's good for us. But Allah Ta'ala knows that, no, this is bad for us. Allah Ta'ala knows that this isn't something that is appropriate to give now, but perhaps we can give it later. Or sometimes Allah Ta'ala just knows that this is something that I can't be giving to this person in this world. Something that I'll give him something else in the hereafter to make up for it. So if we can understand the example of a father and child, then definitely we should be able to understand Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala du'as as well. Now, since the child keeps on begging his father and asking, it doesn't mean that the father's going to he's not going to reject his request. Obviously, the father will try and make up through some other means. If the child keeps on bugging their dad, saying, "Oh, give me a flick knife," or give me this, give me that, and the father, being sensible, he'll try and swerve his mind towards something else. He'll probably give him a sweet or a crisp or another type of toy which isn't dangerous and which isn't going to harm the child. So in the same manner, same with Allah Ta'ala as well. When we make dua, and the dua that we're asking for, perhaps it's not suitable for us, perhaps it's not correct for us, then Allah Ta'ala, He'll do the same thing. He'll either give us something else in place of that, or something better, or Allah Ta'ala will fulfill that request later, either later on in this worldly life or later on in the hereafter. So may Allah Ta'ala gives the tawfiq to benefit, inshaAllah Ta'ala, and may Allah Ta'ala gives the tawfiq to make the most out of this Ramadan, inshaAllah Ta'ala. Subhanallah bihamdi, subhanaka Allahumma bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.